Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. I am Brett the Jet here with the Turn 3 Racing Network. I got some friends in the booth today. We're doing the extra large booth here. We got first and foremost, we got Tanner Tallarico in the booth. Tanner, you want to say hi?
Yeah, how's everybody tonight? Hopefully we put on a good event, and I'm happy to be back in the booth for the first time in a while.
And then, as well as Tanner, we got a first newcomer in the booth here. We got Jam the Man Jacob in the booth.
It's glad to be here, Brett.
Alrighty, so that will make up tonight's broadcasting booth here at Charlotte for the ASRC Sportsman Series. As we get rolling here, we're looking about, what's it looking like, Tanner, for the car count here tonight?
I believe we're going to be at 14 cars once we take the green flag. So magic number is 14 tonight. We're going 14 cars and 140 laps. So tack an extra 0 on the end, and hopefully we get some good racing out of it. It's a dynamic track, so hopefully we see multiple lanes.
Certainly will be an exciting race.
I agree, guys. It should be a good one with this, like Tanner said, dynamic track out on the speedway tonight. That means the cars can go wherever they want. They can search for the racing groove, search for the speed in the track as the race goes on. As we're in the middle of qualifying, we'll maybe pull up on the left side of our screen here, folks, and see who's at the top of the charts for qualifying. It looks like Nick Fleury in that 25 machine with Jeff O'Quinn in second, leading the blue division. As I say that, the announcer curse kicks in. Austin Nielsen goes to the quick time at the top of the board.
Yeah, it's a pretty good lap there out of Austin. I was watching him in practice. I caught the last couple minutes of practice there, and Austin looked like he was putting in some really good lap times, and that qualifying time right there is actually a good bit faster than his practice time. So and Austin was quick last week at Rockingham, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that momentum going again tonight.
Yep, that is true. As we look at the 988 machine of John Furness, or the 28 with the trading paints on his car, we'll see where he can slot on in on the timing scoring as he starts his first time lap here at Charlotte.
Yeah, and John was really quick in practice. He was top of the board in practice by a little over a tenth of a second. So if he runs a solid, smooth lap right here, I would not be surprised to see that 28 machine jump to the top.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good here as he comes through turns 3 and 4 of that car. Down on the bottom of the racetrack as a little bit of internet issues as he disappears. And actually doesn't get a time because we finished over from qualifying and heads into the race. So he does not get to put in a time in. And it looks like he will slot in Pete number 9.
Ouch.
As they get ready to grid up here. We'll get rolling through tonight's starting order. We got on pole position with the Quick Time Award presented by Quick Time Motorsports Media, Austin Nielsen in the 52. Starting to the outside front row, Nick Fleury for that RHU Racing 25 machine. Jeff O'Quinn in the 94 will lead the blue division in the inside row. Number 2, starting to his outside, last season's blue division champion Kyle Munson in the 28. And rounding out our top 5, Nathan Henry in the 59.
Yeah, and then starting the race in 6th tonight will be Billy Thomas in the 9 car. Late entry in practice, so cool to see Billy hopping in here at the last second. Starting in 7th tonight will be Brian Wildison. That's a ASRC Dirt Division driver turned pavement, it looks like. So good qualifying run there for Brian. I will not be racing, but I'm gridded up in 8th. So I'm obviously up here in the booth. Then, as we said, John Furness wasn't quite able to clock in that qualifying lap there. Came up just short of the line. Ran out of time. It looked like he had a good lap going. He'll be rolling off 9th. And then Andrew Payne will be starting the race in 10th.
It's going to be bringing the pain, I hear.
As we have John Sinu starting Pete number 11 in the 86 machine. And then starting 12th, it looks like Alan Duranco in the 109 machine. As we get to the final row of tonight's grid, we got John DeMeester in the Blue Deuce starting 13th. And rounding out our field tonight, Noah Boucher in the 16 machine will round out the field. As Tanner,
That'll do it as we go ahead, Brett.
Who do you think will be who's your pick for tonight's big winner?
Oh man, I don't know. There's You know, I look back last week to Rockingham, and there's a lot of quick guys in that race. So I immediately got to turn my head, like I said earlier. Austin, obviously, pole winner. Yeah, what an easy pick, right? But he was really quick last week. He had some misfortune. I really think that if Austin's able to keep that thing up front in clean air and, you know, not have anything go too sideways for him tonight, I'd keep an eye on that 52 car.
Yeah, and I got to go with the easy pick here. He starts P number 10, 11, somewhere in the back. Andrew Payne, when he shows up, he usually puts a good number on the field. So I got to go with the easy pick of that 93 machine. Jacob, do you have a name you like out there? Name or number?
You said it, Brett. He's gonna be bringing the pain here. He's gonna be rolling right down the corner. It's gonna be a hot show tonight. I'm really looking forward to this.
Alrighty, so he picks the 93 as well of Andrew Payne. So we'll have to see where all these guys line on up. Looks like the lights are back on the pace car, Tanner and Jacob. It looks like we got one more lap of pace in here, so maybe we'll go through some race info while we got to the second here. So, of course, we're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, looking at about 1.5 miles overall length at one of those D-shaped speedways here. Got what's around, I think, 20 degrees of banking. And, of course, with iRacing, this is a dynamic racetrack, so we'll see cars all the way at the bottom, all the way at the wall, all over this racetrack using it on up. Looking like 77 degrees. A nice, cool night here. And, of course, we got to thank all the sponsors here from American Sim Racing Club, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Mike Custom Garage and Speed Talk, and the 399 Esports. If you want to find out more or be a part of this racing action, check out AmericanSimRacingClub.com with that link down at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, I think one other thing we want to hit on real quick here, Brett, that I just thought of is these guys got limited tire sets tonight, and Charlotte's pretty abrasive. So this being a longer race, they have one extra tire set than normal. They would usually have 4, but tonight they have 5. But nonetheless, I'm sure as the cautions fall and we get some of these competition cautions, like stage caution on lap 30, would not be surprised to see these guys come down and bolt on a set of tires because this place is extremely abrasive.
Yep, I would agree. I think whenever that competition caution comes out, that will be the first time that cars will take all 4 Goodyear tires and fill it up with Sunoco race fuel in it. As the lights stay extinguished on the iRacing pace car this time by, that means we'll be going green flag for the start of this 140 lapper here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll wait for the iRacing pace car to make the hard left-hand turn and jump down pit road. I think it's Tim Rogers in the iRacing pace car tonight. As they make the hard left-hand turn, we'll wait for Austin Nielsen to fire on off. As he fires on off, and we are green flag racing here from Charlotte. Austin gets an awesome start. Looks like Jeff O'Quinn may get a run at Nick Fleury going into turn 1.
Yeah, it looked like Nick may have bobbled just a little bit there, but he's still able to keep that momentum up. We'll see him probably pull the 9 car off turn number 2. Yeah, and he will clear Jeff by just a little bit. And so far, single file looks like they're a top 5.
Yep, as we see Jeff O'Quinn with a different paint scheme now, going from the 94 Bill Elliott McDonald scheme now to the 9 Coors Light machine. So everyone will have to keep that in the memory banks as he's rocking a little bit different of a paint scheme here tonight. But everyone already single filed out in this field as we look a little bit further back at Brian Wheels in that 6 Valvoline machine. As I believe everyone will probably take it pretty easy here at the start and just manage their cars till this first stage caution.
Gotta try and make these tire sets last throughout the whole race.
That is true, especially with being so limited amount. You know, you don't want to burn them up too early and burn up the set that's on the car too early, because you'll go straight to the back.
Yeah, you know, it's going to take a couple laps here to get this track activated and really get this thing dynamic. We're kind of light on cars tonight, and the more cars that you have, you know, the track's likely to widen out a little bit sooner in the race. So it might take us a couple laps here, maybe even until that first stage break to really see the, you know, middle and outside lanes come in and be dominant. But we see some guys up there trying to rubber them in right now, but I still think it's going to be a few laps before they really come in.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we saw the 16 machine, all the way against the wall in 3 and 4 already. So we'll have to see how that works on out as we got a battle for 3rd place on the track right now. Kyle Munson getting around Jeff O'Quinn, and Nathan Henry trying to follow suit on that low side.
Yeah, and you know, Munson's no slouch either. I got to race against Kyle last week at Rockingham. Got to race against him a handful of times, but more specifically last week at Rockingham. Really, really strong on the short run and even on the long run. But for me, when I was able to be around him on track, he was really hooked up on the short run last week, and it looks like that's carrying over this week in Charlotte.
Now, Tanner, I gotta ask, with Jeff O'Quinn getting stuck on that high side, does that kill the tires a little bit quicker, especially before this track activates?
Yeah, I would say it would. You know, usually the way that the track gets worn in is actually the bottom lane builds up rubber and actually starts to lose a little bit of grip down there. So when you're up in those other lanes that aren't being ran on as much, the groove is a little bit more coarse, and it'll you know, pull a little bit more rubber off of the tire than, say, the bottom lane where a lot of the other cars are really running and putting down the rubber. So you definitely want to be careful of it. You never want to be the first one up there. At least I never want to be the first one up there. But if you are and you can make good time, you can really, you know, put some stuff together and go fast. But again, I think it's going to take a couple laps to really come in. But you definitely want to be, you know, a little bit ginger on your tires if you're one of the first ones to go up there.
We're looking at John Furness here, all the way up into P number 4 here early in this race, up 5 positions here, so he is a man on a mission in this Aveline mission, excuse me. We'll have to see how he races with his front guys, as some tough competitors still in front of him on track.
Yeah, and as we work our way into this run, one thing you're going to want to be looking for is the guys that are still able to hit that painted line on the bottom of the track. We were just talking about how abrasive this place is. Before iRacing did the update and made this track dynamic, there's actually a little bit of extra grip down there on that paint. Now that the track is dynamic and there's some other, you know, variables in play that can kind of affect the way the car gets to the corner, that paint's not quite as important to hit as it was originally, but still, if you're able to get down there and really run that painted line all the way through the corner, you can usually take a little bit of the load off the right side tires and really get that thing to hook all the way through the corner. Right now, obviously, as you can see, Nielsen doing a really good job of that, but also Furness as well, and a couple other guys through the field.
Yeah, Furness that last time through 1 and 2 did a pretty good job of it. Really getting that car to drive down to the center, really wrap that middle on that painted yellow line. Doing a good job with that, because most of the time on iRacing, guys, the shortest way around the track is the best to saving tires. You see him go all the way down, driving a little bit deep to get around that fellow 28 car of Kyle Munson.
Yeah, meanwhile up front, still not much of a change. It's still Nielsen out front, leading Fleury by about 3 car lengths or so. But again, as you just said, John Furness starting to make his way forward. Kyle Munson kind of holding steady in 4th. As we go back through the field, looks like our first real big battle is about 6th through 10th place with Nathan Henry, Jeff O'Quinn, Brian Wildison, and Billy Thomas. They've got a pretty good battle going on right now. And don't look now, but just behind them, I believe it was your pick. Oh, both of your guys' pick. Andrew Payne starting to knock on the door of this battle as well.
Yeah, these guys all trying to see what they have in store for a short run, because we will get that competition caution here soon. So all these guys pushing the car as hard as they want, or as little as they want, knowing that a yellow flag is to fall here at Charlotte Motor Speedway here in a little bit.
Yeah, and you know those stage points are really important. We saw last week. Don't think that these guys are too content just to lay back and, you know, get to the stage. And we saw last week at Rockingham, I think we had a group of 5 or 6 cars that were going absolutely, you know, all out that first. I think it was 35 laps or so last week. So right now we've got this front 2 breakaway for 1st and 2nd, but I would not be surprised if later in this run, if you see some of those guys, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, start to pick it up a little bit and try to, you know, close down that gap a little bit. But nonetheless, pretty good battle up here as Fleury's kind of closed that gap.
As we see Jeff O'Quinn get to the inside of Nathan Henry. They've been side by side for now, coming up to a lap here. They are Jeff O'Quinn on the preferred line, but Nathan Henry not making a move. Taking it out on the high side.
Yeah, and that's I believe that's the first time right there that I've seen that anybody has ran the outside and at least been able to maintain pace with the car on the inside, you know, off of the corner. And actually right now, as you see Henry again, really gets through the center of the corner good. Not quite able to carry a ton of momentum off the corner, but again, able to hang somewhat steady with Jeff on the inside. So I don't think that outside lane's quite worn in yet, but it's definitely, you know, coming around. I'd give it a couple more laps here, and I would not be surprised to see a lot more guys moving up.
You know, Tammy, that car is just really rolling down the center of the corner. Tell you what.
Yeah, it's definitely wrapping the bottom very well.
That it is. Hitting that bottom side and getting it to really rip and go on the bottom. As it looks like we got a battle for the race lead. Nick Fleury to the inside of Austin Nielsen here on lap number 15.
Yeah, and don't look now, but here comes, oh man, I thought John was going to maybe make it 3 wide on the bottom, but it looks like he's going to think better of it and actually get to the outside of the 25 car now.
Yeah.
Now, I know that we sound like we've been beating a dead horse early about the outside lane, but one thing to, you know, keep in mind is as these tires start to wear, you know, if you get a guy on your outside and they're able to really hang right off of your door, it can be really difficult to keep them from getting a run on you and getting around you. So actually, as the run goes on, I would say that the outside lane is probably preferred for defending a position, just because you can kind of control your own destiny up there a little bit more. But definitely on new tires and a fresh racetrack, the bottom is the way to go.
Yeah, we talked about tires, racetrack, and all that stuff. What we haven't talked about is the aerodynamics yet. We haven't talked any about dirty air, nor that wall air that we get here on iRacing now with the newest updates. So cars will also be searching around grooves to get out of dirty air, to get downforce on their front splitter like we see the 28 doing, not be right behind the 57. But also you can side draft and make a car in front of you loose or tight depending on how you set them up. So all sorts of stuff going on with this race, as we see now John Furness going to the outside of Austin Nielsen, battling for this race lead.
Yeah, John looks really good right now. He's been kind of committed to that top lane for a few laps now, and I think he's been up there long enough to where obviously he's got it figured out. So I would definitely say that John here sooner rather than later is probably going to clear Austin, but that 28 machine's looking pretty strong so far.
That he is. He has been the biggest mover by far in this race, up 8 positions if he claims this race lead. As Austin Nielsen, a little bit of connection issues. Where did he go? Up there he is. As we see new race leader for the first time here at Charlotte, John Furness takes the race lead here on lap number 19 of 140. We'll be here a while, folks.
You can say that.
We'll be here a while, folks.
That we will. As now with Austin Nielsen out of the lead, he now gets some dirty air for the first time tonight, and that may open the door to Nick Fleury as he is all over the back bumper of that 52 machine coming off of turn number 2. I promise I know what corner we're in.
If I know anything about the driver of that 25 machine, he's really smart, he's really meticulous, and he's not going to push that car, you know, any harder than it needs to go for a certain point in time in the race. So I'm sure Nick's probably saving a little bit here, kind of pacing himself. And looks like right now he's going to probably get the best of the 52 machine. So flip-flop the numbers on the cars and maybe flip-flop the numbers on the track. Looks like Nick almost had him there, but he's going to have to fall back in behind and try again.
Yep. As another thing that Nick Fleury will do, he'll give you a perfect amount of space to race you clean, but nothing more. He is a tough competitor out here at ASRC, and always the one I enjoy battling. I'm sure you do too, Tanner, but he can get pretty frustrating if you're a fellow competitor, I'll say that much.
Yeah, he definitely went to the Ryan Newman School of NASCAR driving, that is for sure. But again, definitely calculated and very meticulous behind the wheel. Does a lot of road racing and F1 racing, so he knows when to push his car and when not to, and I would not be surprised to see that 25 machine make some kind of challenge for the lead during this race before it's all said and done.
Yeah, with these two battling for second, John Furness hasn't really pulled away from him, so with them even battling, they still keep in the pace of the leader for the most part, so pretty impressive to see it. Nick didn't get too good of a run off of turn 4, lost a lot of ground actually to that 52 machine.
Yeah, and as you see it here, field's starting to string out just a little bit. Again, we will have that stage caution here coming up here in just a handful of laps, but just kind of going back through the field. Again, we got John Furness up front, followed by Austin Nielsen in second. We got Nick Fleury in third. Kyle Munson, last season's Blue Division champion, running in fourth. Jeff O'Quinn holding down the Ford in fifth. Andrew Payne all the way up to sixth after starting tail end and electing to take an EOL penalty to start this race. Has already found his way all the way up to the sixth position. Nathan Henry running seventh. Looks like Brian Wildison will be eighth. Billy Thomas ninth. And Alan Duranko, another dirt driver turned pavement, rounding out the top 10.
Yep, so quite a few fast names here tonight to try and get on through to the first stage caution. Like you said, Tanner, pretty spread out for the most part here early, but we may have a battle for 12th and 13th as John DeMeister has started to catch this 16 car, and it looks like 16 car may have had some right side damage, maybe got the wall once, and we know how much that can impact the car here on iRacing. Really slow it down in the straightaways.
Yeah, and unfortunately, these, as we like to call them, downforce style tracks, really anything that's a mile or bigger where you're carrying a substantial amount of speed, it really hurts you. So, John DeMeister, loyal driver to here at ASRC. I think he's been here since day one, so you love to see John out here, having a decent run and getting some good air time. But yeah, it looks like Noah pulled away a little bit again, but we're closing in on that stage break. We're going to rebunch up this field and re-rack them and put all these boys right on top of each other again and see how they do.
Yep, and most importantly for these two at the back, get that all-important damage repair. Try and tape up these cars a little bit, seal these cracks that are exposed, especially on that hood area. But I think I have to recheck the stats, but I'm pretty sure John DeMeister has the most laps completed as an ASRC member throughout all its lifetime so far. So pretty cool title to hold for this Blue Deuce machine.
The Iron Man.
He is the Iron Man of the series, so pretty awesome stuff out of there. As we go back up to the front, Kyle Munson has kind of reeled in Nick Fleury for this maybe second position, as Austin Nielsen hasn't reappeared yet on track.
Yeah, and one thing I just noticed real quick here, Brett, just kind of going through the field, it looks like the 93 machine has some pretty substantial damage to the, I guess it would be the right rear quarter panel area. Really sensitive part of these cars, really important for the side force in the corner and the drag down the straightaway. So, not sure where he got into the wall or got into another car or what have you, but that's definitely not going to help his cause the rest of the night. Really early in the race, we picked up.
I was going to say, how could Andrew Payne hit my face this early in the race? Come on, he's got to take care of this Turn 3 Racing Network car, especially with my face on the quarter panel. He can't be damaging that beauty already. We look at for the race for second now, it's Austin Nielsen. Maybe had some connection issues. Kyle Munson up top, Nick Fleury down low, racing for P number 2.
Yeah, and as we talked about earlier, if you can get that outside lane to really come in here late in this run, I think that's going to be the way to go. And here you see Munson right here with a full head of steam off of 4. Had to lift a little bit, looked like he got tight. So Fleury's going to be able to pull back underneath him, but I would be expecting to see that yellow flag for the stage break here any second.
Yeah, the first stage break is on lap 30, correct, Tanner? We didn't attend the drivers meeting up here in the booth. I believe you did.
I think it's 30.
Alrighty.
I'm going to stick with 30.
Alright, we're going to go with 30, and if we don't get a yellow flag here in the next lap or two, we'll start guessing 40. As Nick Fleury able to defend that position, but Kyle Munson with a big run off of turn number 4 will try once again on that 25 machine. They will be side by side going into turn number 1.
He's picking the top lane there, which is a bit more of a defensive position. Let's see if he can hold it.
Yeah, we'll have to see as Nick Fleury in the 25 up top. 28 of Kyle Munson down low.
Munson missed the bottom just a little bit. It's probably going to make him a little bit tight.
Back to the 25 cars that hit the start finish line. Yeah, Tanner, I think the competition caution coming out a little bit later than you heard in the drivers' meeting. Maybe we won't have one at all. We'll find out here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
We like to keep things suspenseful.
That we do. As John Furness with these two battling for second has checked out to a big race lead. Now over 4 seconds ahead of Nick Fleury.
I tell you what, he certainly is making like a furnace and cooking.
That he is. That he is.
As I like to say, Jacob, if the 25 machine of Nick Fleury ever wins, I say he needs to be sponsored by McDonald's so we can all get some McFlurries after the race.
Yeah, we're looking at lap times right now, and that 28 machine has had consistently 2 to 3 tenths over the field in the last 7 to 8 laps or so. So they got that thing trimmed out perfectly, got some good horsepower under the hood, and John's going to be hard to beat tonight for sure.
That's the name of the game, is consistency here on Charlottesville.
That is true. As yeah, we'll have to run that 28 or 988 of John Furness through tech big time, because I believe this is the first time we've seen his name out here at ASRC, and for him to be putting on this dominating performance that he is showing right now, you gotta make sure that thing passes through tech, because he is putting on a clinic here early in this race.
Yeah, John's a short track racer from back here in Michigan. Brett, I know we obviously know a little bit about that community. If I remember right, I believe John is pretty successful in dwarf cars up here around us. So he's really used to gripping it and ripping it and those things, and he's definitely putting that to good use here on the sim.
It's glad to see a local talent from around here coming in here in Charlotte.
Yeah, definitely always good to see the cross-pollination of real-life racing and sim racing kind of crisscross paths. And there's a couple drivers that we have here in ASRC that have got some real-life racing experience. And there is the caution, so I would have to assume that that will be our stage break. So we'll split the difference. We thought it was 30, and then we thought it was 40, so we'll split the difference right down the middle, and it is 35. So John Furness is going to pick up that stage win, followed by Kyle Munson, Jeff O'Quinn, Nick Fleury, and Andrew Payne got up there into the top 5.
Yep, hugging the corner right there. Beautiful form from Andrew Payne.
Judges would say that's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, definitely the 988 on the scoring pylon, 28 on your television screen. John Furness, that car is in an absolute different zip code. But I'll tell you what, this battle here that we're going to have between Munson, O'Quinn, Fleury, and Payne, those guys, you could have thrown a blanket over them there at the end of that stage. So I think if things can go green, I think Furness is going to be hard to beat, but we might be in for one heck of a battle for the rest of the top 5.
Yeah, because now with this caution, that restacks the whole field, and now it comes into play. Do you start saving tires? Do you start going hard? Now the strategy will really come in as we see the field come down pit road and get 4 fresh tires and fill it up with virtual Sunoco racing fuel.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, a couple of these guys have got some right side damage or left side damage, and we're talking about how detrimental that can be to the overall speed of the race car. It'll be interesting to see if any guys would like to get that damage fixed here on pit road since we're so early in the race. I'd have to think they probably would, but you never know. So I'll have to keep an eye out on these pit boxes as these guys go over the wall.
For this list, we'll be looking at various stunts from the Jackass show and movies that went a little off the rails, whether it be from an injury or an unforeseen outcome. And please, don't try any
Please
of
excuse
this
us,
on
we're
your
having
own.
some technical difficulties up here in this.
Yeah, no kidding. We had something pop up in the background here as John Furness doesn't win the race off of pit road, followed by Kyle Munson, Jeff O'Quinn, Brian Wilderson, and then Nick Fleury losing quite a few spots down pit road. But yeah, for some reason a YouTube video wanted to start up in the background on my end, so excuse that as we see the rest of the cars still on pit road, probably getting some damage repairs done as we see the 9 finally rolling on off.
As you said, there was some light, minor cosmetic injuries over on the right side and on your face. So it's glad to see those things being repaired.
I wish I could repair my face as easy as they can repair these race cars, Jacob.
Oof.
I was going to say, it can't get messed up any more than it already is, so I have to get the bear bond out and slap some on there.
That we will have to do. Maybe
Here we see the blue deuce coming out. Pit row there.
As we look at my
There's
face.
no chill here in the turn 3 booth, folks.
There is not. We're having a great time with it as we look at the 93 car. Looking a little bit better as he got those repairs, at least some of them repaired on that 93 car.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see once we drop the green flag on this restart how much those repairs actually are going to help him out. Unfortunately, here on iRacing, if you get any kind of substantial right side damage, even if you get that fixed, it usually still is quite the detriment to your car throughout the rest of the race. But usually, if you get anything on the rear or left side of the car, it's not quite as detrimental as far as the overall speed of the car. But anything that you'll pick up on the nose or the right side of the car is definitely going to end up being less than ideal.
Yep, as the lights, trying to see on the pace car, it looks like they still are on, so we'll go at least one more time around the speedway.
We are out here for a cruise out here in Charlotte.
Yeah. Pace speed, I believe, Tanner, is 80 miles an hour, so this is just the speed difference that we see. This is 80. This is like going down the highway at a pretty substantial speed, so just put in perspective of how fast these cars are really going around this racetrack.
Yeah, and as we're clicking over to it, we are 40 laps in with 100 to go. So we're at the 100 to go mark here at the line.
Now, Tanner, I see that you did bring a race car here tonight. Do you know any the fuel range for tonight's race by chance?
I did not do any fuel calculations, but I can tell you in the past it was anywhere from about 36 to about 40 laps on fuel. So unless iRacing has changed something in the last 6 months or so, I would say that that's going to be roughly your fuel window. So I don't know. There was a poll going around in the drivers' meeting that we may be getting a secondary competition caution on lap 70. So if that's the case, I think that's going to take most of the pit strategy, out of this race. But if not, it definitely could open the window up for guys, maybe saving and trying to go long or short or what have you. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
As we see the 28 cars lock out the front row. It's the 88 of John Furness on the scoring, but the 28 painted on the car. Same with the 28 of Kyle Munson to his outside. We'll start the front row of this restart, starting in that second row. We got Jeff O'Quinn in the 9 or 94 on the timing, scoring with the 6 or the 951 of Brian Wilderson. So, Tanner, it seems like you got to run a different car number to what it says on our timing scoring here at Turn 3 Racing Network, and then you're automatically fast, it seems like.
Yeah, I think if you can confuse the timing and scoring, it just automatically makes your car faster. So
exactly,
definitely something to think about going forward.
It's like putting a red piece of tape on your car. You do it in your 10th faster, then all of a sudden you see the rest of the field with a red piece of tape on the car the next week. So as the iRacing pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road, we'll wait for the 988 to fire on off to lead us back to green flag racing here at Charlotte. As he just does that, and we are back racing here. 988 with not a great restart, but not a terrible one either, as he is by his lonesome going into turn number 1.
Yep, field is 2 by 2 as they work their way through 1 and 2. Again, Furness out front by about 5 car lengths over Jeff O'Quinn and Kyle Munson, but field working its way down the backstretch and off into turn number 3. Looks like Kyle Munson's going to clear himself with the cars behind him, move into second place. And, a bit of a moment there. It looked like Jeff O'Quinn maybe got a little bit loose on the bottom. That's going to open up the door for Wilderson, clear himself through into the top, into the third position.
And that also opens up the door for Nick Fleury and Andrew Payne, both on the low side there. So that 9 car dropping back in a hurry. Slap back in. On the right side of the freight train as he continues to fall back in this field. Andrew Payne goes all the way to the bottom there. Not sure why that was.
Seems like a lot of the drivers are utilizing. There could be some sidewall action coming up.
Yeah, they could. We could see them really using that wall to try and rotate the car, keep it loose. But also, the closer you get to the wall, the less room you have for mistakes. It takes one little mistake, one little push over the edge, and you go get the wall and get some big time damage, and then your race is pretty much over. It's like Tanner mentioned before, these cars are very aero dependent. As you see the 28 try the high side of 1 and 2, now back to the bottom of 4. As Kyle Munson almost maybe got the wall with the right rear. Same with Nathan Henry there. So 2 developing stories we got to keep an eye on early in this second run.
Yeah, and a big part of these races too, especially like we said earlier, any of these. Oh, real loose off the corner there for Munson. Hell of a save. I thought he was going to lawn dart the inside wall there, but way to gather that one up. He was swatting flies, but yeah, these cars are so, like you said, Brett, aero dependent. If you can somehow get through the whole race without picking up any kind of damage, you can kind of chart your own destiny as far as locking yourself into the top handful of spots or so, just because you'll naturally be, faster on the straightaway than guys around you, just because you won't have as much drag. So. If you can somehow manage to not pick up any damage on that race car, obviously that's a good thing, but it definitely will help you as the race goes on.
Yeah, like we always like to say, Tanner, back in the day, if we can keep these cars clean, automatic top 5 is we would like to think, I think that could be very true here tonight. Andrew Payne now looking to the inside of the 28 struggling with his car the second run. Very loose on corner exiting, looking kind of tight at the apex, so whatever he's doing differently, not working out for this 28 car. Dropping to the back like a anchor.
Yeah, that'll clear Andrew Payne back up into the 4th position. So looks like the call on pit road to get that damage fixed was the right call. That car is really good getting through the center of the corner well. Missed the bottom a little bit right there in 3 and 4, but it didn't look like it hurt him that much. Definitely closed up the gap on Fleury and Wilderson here up front.
Yeah, as Nick Fleury now looking to the inside of the 6 or the 951, so battle for second place once again. Payne right on the bumper of the 25 machine. As one car loose off of turn number 4, that was Noah. Almost lawn darts the inside wall. Does an awesome job keeping it off it, but he was at least 30 degrees rotation coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah, these things are a handful on these first few laps on new tires, that's for sure. There's not a whole lot of downforce built into these Xfinity cars. They're, kind of the closest thing that we can call, something close to the 2007, 2008, I guess it would have been the Gen 4 cars as far as the overall horsepower and downforce numbers. So they'll jump right around on you if you're not careful on cold tires. We saw that with Munson, and we just saw that with Noah there off turn number 2. So have to keep an eye on turn number 2 all night long on new tires, because I'm sure it's going to bite somebody here eventually.
Yeah, because that's what I was telling Jacob when giving him a little pre-race debriefing. He was asking what kind of cars, what kind of track, and I told him the Xfinity cars, which aren't quite the top-level NASCAR cars. And he's like, wait, why don't we race the top-level cars? I said, well, these are a lot more fun to race. These are a lot more of a handful, a lot tougher to drive. So if you can finish well and finish in the front and keep them under you, it's a lot more rewarding as a driver, and it puts on some better racing that we see here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As a driver, you always want to race something that kind of, puts it back in your hands. So, I think it's common knowledge, this past NASCAR Gen 6 car that we had, with the rules package of it, that was kind of slot car racing. It was kind of grip it and rip it, on the floor the whole way around. And didn't really take a whole lot of driver skill as much as strategy, if you want to think of it that way. But these Xfinity cars definitely, you can kind of chart your own destiny with the steering wheel and the pedals. So it's nice to be able to put the racing back in the race car. And they definitely put on a good show as well.
That it is. I'm excited to see what these I keep on wanting to say next gen, but current gen cars, the Gen 7s that are out on the racetrack. They've been putting on some pretty good racing here in real life. Excited to see what iRacing can do to mimic that, because they put on some pretty good races, Tanner. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. You think about, the NASCAR race yesterday. They were at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and, you can definitely tell that the competition level is a little bit more level among the teams. That's a good thing to see. Obviously, I think that's good for the health of the sport. It's good to have that parity. You see guys like Ross Chastain yesterday. I believe he actually led the most amount of laps in that race, so that's a great example of it. But, you got guys like Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Ricky Stenhouse. There's, I could keep going. There's a handful of guys that have had really, really good runs. And even smaller teams, Brad Keselowski, a past champion, but he's been, seems like he's hitting everything in sight, but when he's not hitting everything in sight, he's got the speed in that car to, compete and be up inside the top 10 in a team that was relatively, non-factor the last couple of years. So definitely good to see that playing field pretty level, and it'd be cool to bring that over here to iRacing as well.
True, as we're looking on track a little bit here, the battle for 8th, it's kind of slowed on down, but Noah Bouchard and Nathan Henry both battling for this 8th position. Noah able to defend it, but Nathan Henry trying to remount up and attack if he can on the 16 car.
Yeah, I think both of these cars have gotten into the wall at some point, but right here you're going to see Henry, the big run. Looks like he wasn't quite able to do anything with it. I thought he was going to maybe pull to the outside there and get around Noah going down the front straightaway, but wasn't quite able to do it. And I'll tell you what, this battle here for 3rd and 4th between Wilderson and Payne is starting to heat up too. Andrew's been working him over for the last, 3 or 4 laps or so, and they've been switching lanes and doing all kinds of things to try to for Andrew to try to get around Brian, and just hasn't quite been able to find the right combination of lanes to get around that 6 car.
Yeah, it's as the racing saying loves to be, Tanner. It's one thing to catch a car, it's a whole nother to pass him, as we see here that the case here at Charlotte tonight. The 16 machine taps the outside wall, pushes the limit, puts the rocking chair over the edge, and now open up the door for Alan Duranko in the 109 machine now.
Yeah, it looked like Noah probably got into the corner, and I don't know if he got tight. He was just up too high. Maybe he got in the marbles, and that car kind of pushed out towards the wall. Because it didn't really look like he got too loose, but definitely lost the nose on that 16 car, and unfortunately, tore that right side up more than it already was. So it's not going to make his night any easier, but Noah's a trooper. He's going to stick with it, and I'm sure he's going to bounce back here at some point.
That will continue to add to the damage to that 16 car. Continue to slow it on down as now the 109 looks to the inside down the backstretch. That may open up the door to the Blue Deuce of John DeMeester, who is now knocking on the door for a top 10.
Yeah, John's sticking with it. It looks like Andrew Payne's going to get by Wilderson. I think Brian just let him go there at the end of the straightaway. So move the 93 car up to 3rd, Wilderson back to 4th. But again, yeah, cool to see DeMeester up there right in the thick of this battle.
Yeah, as I think, Tanner, it's still too early to be hardcore battling with it only lap 57 of 140. It's not quite the time to really give someone a hard time, really turn up the wick just quite yet, but still some time to try and manage some tires, as that's what I'd be doing at this stage in the race.
Yeah, I think the other side of kind of, pacing yourself is you let a guy go, you hope at some point later in the race or maybe the following week or something along those lines, that gets paid back. So it's kind of driver code to know if a guy lets you go that you want to try to return that favor at some point, whether it be, like I say, in the current race or, down the road. So I'm sure that Brian, by doing that, is expecting, a little bit of slack back his way in return eventually. But, yeah, it looks like Payne is going to move up into 3rd, but as I say that, Munson and Jeff O'Quinn have closed the gap on Wilderson as well. So that 6 car under fire. See if he can hold these 2 guys off.
Yeah, it looks like a battle shaping up for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack here. As we look at the green machine, he's brought it back again, Tanner, of that 28 car, as he looks to the inside of the 6 going down the front stretch.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier. Like, I know I said last week, Munson's short run speed was really impressive last week in Rockingham. That's, that's a really tough track to be consistent lap after lap at, and he was doing it. So I think he picked up a little bit of damage that maybe skewed the end of his race a little bit, but I definitely think last week Kyle was a competitor and definitely a threat maybe for the win, and it's not surprising to me at all to see him, working his way back up through the field. I mean, he's a past division champion, so can't say I'm overly surprised.
Exactly. He's done a great job moving up to this red division here, and been fighting in the top 10 for sure, the top 5 quite a few races. So that 28 machine has a lot of speed in, and excited to see what he can do when the playoffs come around for the series. Because don't forget, folks, it may mean a lot to do well in this season, but the big thing is just making sure you get to the end, get into the playoffs. That's when it really matters, where the shakeups can really happen. Because even me, myself, and Tanner, we've had some great battles when it comes to postseasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to, race 1, 2, maybe 3 races at a time and approach them all separately. But when you got to compile, a season of 15, 16, 17, sometimes even 18. And in fact, this season for the Sportsman Xfinity Series we're running right now, I believe it's 22 races for the entire season. So It's amazing that you can run that many races in a season and still have the points battles end up being as close as they are at the end of the season. But, it's just a testament to the guys that we have here in this league. And the competition level here is so close. One slip-up could be the difference between winning a race and finishing 7th, 8th, or 9th. So definitely makes it fun and definitely makes the end of the season, interesting.
Yeah, as you see Jeff O'Quinn just get his nose to the outside of Kyle Munson. We'll have to see if he's able to keep it down the front stretch here. It looks like maybe he can, and we'll have to see if the high side starts to come on in for this 9/94 machine.
Yeah, and back up front, you're not missing anything. That 28 machine on your television set is in his own zip code. He is running the wall right now, and he's making up some great lap time. His last lap time, I'll tell you right here across the line as he goes across start-finish line. That lap right there for him was a 32.37, and your second place car, Nick Fleury, was a 32.45, so almost a 1/10 of a second faster than second place, and actually just a little bit slower than Andrew Payne right now in third. So Payne's hanging with him lap time wise, just doesn't have the track position at the moment, but you never know if we get a caution or something like that, bunches field back up, it could get pretty interesting here real quick.
Yeah, that is the case, as we saw Jeff O'Quinn try and make the inside work, not quite, but they are both catching Brian Wilderson. So looking to shape back up here as the 9/94 machine turning up the wick here mid-race. The question is, Tanner, you've been saying they were blown out of pole for a caution on lap 7. We'll see if we get that case.
Yeah, you see Jeff O'Quinn right here did a really good job of rolling in the middle of the corner there to get to the outside of the 28 car. If you can just get to that guy's quarter panel that's ahead of you, mainly the right rear quarter panel, you could really kind of pin him down. Kill his momentum on the bottom and just rip right around the outside like you saw Jeff do there. So he's clear of Munson. He's going to set his sights on Wilderson now. He's got about 5 car lengths to close up, but I would not be surprised to see Jeff O'Quinn get around Wilderson here. Lap time's been really good.
Yeah, we will have to see if he can do just that.
Running back through the field here. For the most part, field's pretty spread out, single file again, as it was at the end of the first stage there. Not a whole lot of battling going on, actually no side-by-side action at all right now. But it looks like the closest little clump of cars that we have is this battle between Munson, O'Quinn, and Wilderson. As I said earlier, Furness up front, really clocking in some solid lap times. He's got about 2/10 over the field. No damage on that car, so that's not a good sign for the rest of the competitors. I believe that Furness, as well as Fleury, Wilderson, Jeff O'Quinn, and I believe that's it. Maybe Billy Thomas are the only cars that don't have any kind of damage on their cars. So that's going to help those guys out a lot and definitely going to improve their lap time.
Yeah, as you said, Tanner, if you keep that car clean, it may be worth a top 5, and it's looking like that might be the case. As we are on lap 69, of 170.
Nice. Yeah, this time by as Furness will cross the start-finish line. We will be crossing over halfway, so this is a pretty long race distance-wise. I believe we're going a mile and a half, 140 laps, so that's like 210 miles, I think, is what we'll be going. We're already halfway there, so I thought this race was going to, drag on a little bit longer than it has, but we're about 40 minutes into it, and we're halfway done, so actually making really good pace.
Yep, as that time by, we saw from John Furness the cross flags halfway down, halfway to go in this race. As we're charging a ASRC a pretty penny for this extra long race here tonight from Charlotte.
Yeah, they're gonna have to break out the old piggy bank, smash that thing on the floor, and start scrounging up quarters, because we are going a little bit over the allotted time limit here. But you know what? We'll make it work.
And paying for 3 broadcasters tonight, so
That's
doing
right.
it up here from the Turn 3 Racing Network.
I don't work for free unless it's for food. I might work for free.
Exactly, food and maybe the right kind of drinks, if you get what I'm saying.
That's right.
As we look here, Andrew Payne is up into the 3rd position here and slowly closing the gap to Nick Fleury in that 25 machine. So we'll see if the 2 white and orange machines will end up battling here.
Payne's been on the up and up this entire race. He's third. kind of mid, now he's at the top. It's great to see this guy.
Yeah, he's up into the podium spots, in the interview spots at the end of the race. He is up 7 positions, whereas John Furness still is the biggest mover, up 8. So if Andrew Payne can get to the lead, he will be the biggest mover in this race, but he has to get there first and foremost.
Gotta say, there's quite the gap between positions 3 and 4. That's gotta be 5, 6, maybe even 7 car lengths. We need that caution flag to really tighten this race back together, get that sportsmanship going.
Exactly, as we see Jeff O'Quinn, actually, as Jacob was talking about it, get around Brian Wilderson for that fourth position, so move the 94 or the 9 machine out on track up into P number 4, drop Brian to 5th.
They are kicking the tires and lighting the fires, tell you what.
That they are struggling with these cars handling these tires, screaming for mercy up at the peak temperature, if not over that peak temperature. Just hoping for that pit stop and get those fresh sets of rubber on these race cars.
Like you were saying earlier, these Xfinity cars really race back in racing.
That they do.
Looks like the only real battle that we have on track. I just saw Alan Duranko look like he was going to try to pull a dirt track slide job on Billy Thomas going into turn number 1, and he did it. No contact made, but he made that one quick and clean and moves himself up into 8.
Yeah, he is the 3rd biggest mover. Speaking about biggest movers of this race, this 109 machine up 5 positions, up into P number 7 here on lap 75.
And he's a hell of a dirt track driver, we know that. Running on the dirt division races on Tuesday nights for Flex Motorsports. Alan, I believe, has got, I think, 1 or 2 wins over there in the dirt 358 modified series. So he can definitely get it done on the dirt. He knows how to hustle a race car, and we saw it right there, able to get around Billy there going into turn number 1.
It's great to be able to transfer those skills over from dirt racing back to the pavement.
Yep, as anyone could be a wheelman in these race cars. I tell you what, they can be anything, but it takes a real big skill to manage to transfer that over from pavement to dirt. So pretty impressive to see out of this 109 machine here tonight. We are on 77 of 140 here in this race. Nothing changing up front, or in this case, the top 3. John Furness still leading the way, putting a dominant. I mean, we put the camera on him. We can't even see second place out there on track. So
he is in the stratosphere.
He is in the zip cone of his own. He's, like Jacob said, in a different stratosphere. He is checked out of this field. The only thing that could hold him back in this race is himself if he makes a mistake.
Yeah, 28 car has got almost the full length of the back straightaway to his favor here. Back to Fleury and Payne.
It's going to be exciting to see when that next caution takes into effect. Here on lap 79.
That is true, because you know what? Even though we've had some tough racing, it's been all clean and pretty consistent racing. So the question is, do we even get a caution in this race? You know, does it go green to the end and everyone has to navigate green flag pit stops? We'll have to wait and see as we close to come to lap number 80 of 140.
Yeah, sorry there, boys. I was doing a little communication with the race control, trying to figure out if we were going to get another competition caution. It sounds like they are once again polling it, so I'm not sure what the direct answer is going to be. We may or may not, but sounds like race control is polling the field whether or not they do want to have another competition caution or so. But if we do get one, I'd have to imagine it's going to be coming here fairly soon if we're going to get one.
So that's an interesting thing, to pull the field mid-race. You know, I would think the people in the top 3, like John Furness especially, would be like, no competition caution. You know, I've earned this race lead 6 seconds over the field. No way. Whereas someone maybe mid-pack like Nathan Henry, Billy Thomas is like, yeah, let's go for a caution. Bunch everyone back up. Is John Furness may have gotten the wall off of turn 2 there. A little bit of a mistake out of the 28.
Yeah, he definitely cut it pretty close. Actually, yeah, I do believe he tagged it just a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be substantial enough to really put much drag on that car, as I would like to say that's just a decal scraper, but you never know. These things can be really temperamental, and if you get them just right, they can slow you down on the straightaway. I've seen guys that, have 30, 40, maybe 50 seconds of damage be faster than guys that just have 5 or 6 seconds of damage, so
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, because Tanner, I got the wall barely at Las Vegas in an official race last week in these Xfinity cars, and I was way down on straightaway speed, and I didn't even see any visuals damage, whereas I see the 28 car has some pretty good right side damage over that Havoline, so I think that will slow down the pace, and Nick Fleury already cut away a quarter of a second to the leader, so this damage maybe hurting this car, or maybe he's just taking it easy now that he knows he got the wall.
Yeah, we'll check the lap times here at the line. Last time by for your leader, we saw a 32.79. Fleury in the 25 car last time by 32.72. So it's going to take a little bit more than that. That's the benefit of building up a really big lead. If something freak like that does happen, you at least got some cushion to fall back on. But I'll tell you what, one guy we need to watch right now, he's making some incredible pace, is O'Quinn. That 94 car on the scoring pylon, but 9 on the screen. He's been running some really good lap times. He's consistently been about a tenth faster than everybody on track. So, again, one of those guys that has been taking care of his equipment. Looks like he's really saving his tires to start of this run, and it's starting to show now because he's reeled in this pack of Fleury and Payne here kind of late in this run.
Yeah, we're looking compared to the 93 machine in third place. Jeff O'Quinn about a tenth of a second each lap better than the 93, and right to the bumper of the 93, looking to his inside as they go into turn 1. That time by Tanner, holy smokes, Jeff O'Quinn 0.3 of a second quicker, so I don't know, it now updated, well, to Nick Fleury, and he's a tenth and a half, so Jeff O'Quinn with some killer pace all of a sudden. Not sure if everyone's falling on off trying to save fuel or whatnot, but that 9 or 94 machine, like I said, some killer pace.
Yeah, conserving those tires is going to be the key to winning this game.
That is a great pun. Very punny.
Thank you very much. That's why I'm here.
I've had to step away from my laughter because that one was the top 5 there, folks. As Jeff O'Quinn up into P number 3 here. Nick Fleury still running in second. Andrew Payne now down to P number 4.
He's giving him some space.
Now, one thing I think we need to think about, we talked about it earlier just real briefly about the fuel runs. We went green, I believe it was on lap, let's see here.
Should have been around 40, 41.
Yeah, so it would have been lap 41. So we'll say 100 laps to go. Now, I'm pretty sure the fuel run on these cars is anywhere. I don't think you can go longer than about 43, 44 laps. I would have to think is really stretching it. So, there could be strategy of some of these guys out there if they've been shutting the car off since the start of the race. Actually, one guy I want to bring up real quick, Brett. I know you remember, John DeMeester, about a year ago, won a race at Auto Club solely based on pit strategy and fuel mileage. So you never know. We could be setting ourselves up for a fuel mileage race here and not even really know it.
Well,
keep an eye on some of these laps.
Well, that Blue Deuce, he can't just win on fuel mileage. He can keep that car quiet, keep it good, and all of a sudden, he's rocking through the field on his own and really making a stand for himself. As we do see the 2 of John DeMeester down pit road this time. Same with the 93 of Andrew Payne. So looks like green flag pit cycles have gone underway here, but looks like Jeff O'Quinn to the inside of Nick Fleury. But yeah, Tanner, this may be a fuel strategy game. We'll have to see who can save, who will go for it, and all that fun stuff that goes with it. As Nick Fleury really backed off the pace these last couple laps, maybe trying to really try and see how long he can stretch the fuel in this 25 machine.
It's one thing to know how to race, but then it's another thing to know how to race.
Exactly, because as these drivers in iRacing, they not only have to drive these race cars to the absolute limits, but most of the time they have to be the crew chief up in the box as well, thinking about all these strategies as they go around the racetrack. It's a lot to endure, Tanner. What's one example you kind of do it, and how do you manage it as you're out there racing, as well as trying to crew chief yourself?
You know, honestly, I never really look at the fuel numbers myself. That's probably not the best way to go about it. I've been bitten in the past by not paying attention to my fuel mileage numbers, but you know, I try to just keep it as basic as I possibly can. I try to only pay attention to, you know, what's out the windshield and what I'm doing with my hands and my feet. So I know if I'm taking care of the race car, if I'm not pushing the tires any harder than they need to go, then I'm probably going to end up making decent lap time by doing that. But definitely, you know, when you start throwing fuel mileage into these races, it's a whole different ball game that you got to pay attention to, and you're not as much racing the competition as much as you are really racing the clock and the mileage in the race car. So totally takes on a different vibe when you start doing these fuel mileage races, as we see Jeff O'Quinn hit pit road right here, as well as Noah. Yeah, it's just totally different feel when you start doing these fuel mileage races and having to watch your calculations.
As we see the 94 machine down pit road that time. Now we got to think the 28 or the 988 will have to be coming down pit road anytime here soon. As he gets on the binders here, makes it down pit road, and he'll be one of the last to make it down. As the question is, did he make it down pit road speed? Because that would be the ultimate deciding factor. If someone gets a penalty at this stage of the race, it'll be detrimental. As I think the 93 machine of Andrew Payne did get one, as he's the only car 2 laps down. What was he doing?
I'll have to go back and look. He must have either sped or not sure what happened to the 93 machine. I'll go back and check out the replay and see if I can't find out maybe what happened. We'll check out the entry and see if he wasn't maybe too fast entering or...
Yeah, as I did get a Snapchat from the 93 driver while he was pitting there, so maybe he did get a penalty. Maybe he was Snapchatting me while racing, and that's what got it out. But some sort of development that I'll have to do my due diligent research on the old Snapchat to find out what maybe happened to this 93 driver.
It's got to be a warning to all the drivers to not text while driving. This is a very safe environment. We want to promote this.
Exactly. Especially don't virtual drink either and drive. I know there's some people that like to do that out there, but you know, it's a little bit frowned upon here on the iRacing sim, even though a lot of people end up doing it. So do what you will with it.
I just went back and checked out the replay there, Brett. If I had to guess, I would say that the 93 machine was probably too fast entering. The pit road speed here at Charlotte is 45 mile an hour, and when the nose of that 93 car hit the pit road speed line, he was running 62 mile an hour. So he was definitely over that threshold of speeding by a good amount. I'd have to imagine that's probably what his penalty was, which if that's the case, that is a pass through penalty. He did serve that, but unfortunately, no, he is 1 lap down, and without a caution is more than likely out of contention for this race.
Dang, and I bet my life savings on this race and this win from this driver, and if he doesn't get it done, I'm in the can. I don't know what to do. Jacob, you got any sayings from it? I'm just truly disappointed.
You know,
this driver.
It's just so ironic that to be penalized for going fast in a race. You know, sometimes in these Xfinity Cup, you just really got to go slow to go fast. Would you agree, Tyler?
Yes, I would agree.
As I appreciate here inside Tyler Talerico. You know, that's We'll be right back. We'll let Crank It Up do the talking for a second. Alrighty, we are back here with some racing action here for a battle for second place on the track. We got Nick Fleury to the inside of Brian Wildison for second place, but John Furness has checked out to a huge race lead. Now almost, I guess 8.5 seconds over the 25 now in second place.
Yeah, and one thing you saw right there, Nick Fleury pitted really late there on that last round of pit stops. He came in on, I believe it was, he came in on lap 90 to Willison's lap 83. So 7 lap pressure tires on that 25 machine. That's going to be a huge difference as the race rolls on. Basically, advantage will be swung towards the 25 machine until the either end of this run or the next caution flag. So basically right now, if you're the 25 machine, you're just riding. It's going to be really tough, I think, to reel in Furness. He's just absolutely in his own zip code right now. But yeah, you're just kind of riding right now if you're that 25 car.
Yeah, and who would have thought John Furness will come in this field and dominate the way he did, as he is putting on a clinic over the regulars here at the ASRC Sportsman Series.
Yeah, and you knew he was fast. He's definitely, proved in the couple of other races that he's ran with us. He's even ran a couple of our Tour Modified series that races on Wednesday nights. He's got speed, he's got pace, absolutely no doubt about it. And I think if you just put a driver like that on a track that's, dynamic, in a car that's really in the driver's hands, it's just going to, show that much more. And obviously, he's been doing that, and it's been reflected right now with an almost 10-second lead over Nick Fleury in second.
The Snapchat finally loaded from Andrew Payne. He got a speeding in pits penalty, a 45-second hold on the field, and that's what kept him. That has kept him a lap down, and the first car a lap down. So the 93 machine of Andrew Payne praying for a caution late in this race.
Yeah, he must have really broke the threshold. I thought it was just a pass-through penalty. He must have got up into that second degree of speeding on pit road. So that's a big penalty, 45-second speeding penalty. That's a big one.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say lap 120, we're going to get the caution, leading to a 20-lap heat race. It's going to be golden.
Oh, man, that would throw a big wrench in everyone's plans. Everyone would pit for tires there, pit on fuel, and be good to the end. And it would put in some great racing, as Andrew Payne almost loses it on corner entry there going into turn number 1. He was big time loose. But maybe Andrew's trying to bring out the caution himself.
He does have that right side damage. I'm sure that car's probably still a little bit ill handling. Usually you get damage on the right sides of these cars, and on new tires it frees them up, and on old tires it tightens them up. So it's not been that long since he pit. Oh, he's really loose right there off before that time. He might have a problem on that 93 machine. Yeah,
maybe he's got a tire down or something going bad, because he can't even keep that thing going in a straight line, folks. That thing's going to be a weapon out here in maybe something's going bad on that car. He'll have to bring that thing down pit road here in a lap or two, because that's no bueno.
Sometimes you just got to stay loose to stay straight, but this guy might be taking that a bit too seriously.
That he might. I mean, he's sideways on the straightaway. That's got. I know you can't really break these on iRacing, but if that was real life, I'd say he's got a track bar getting ready to break, or
tire maybe down or
tire down, something that's affecting that rear end of that car laterally left and right. So he looks all right on the back straightaway, but definitely on the front stretch going through the kinks and the corner entries. Yeah, you see it right there again. He is fighting.
Yeah, maybe we'll jump on board for the Mike's Garage onboard machine. We'll have to see what's going on. Maybe see how much this 93 driver's turning to the right as he gets the wall on entry.
Oh.
You see him just burning off those tires. Listen to him jump on the throttle with the wheel to the left and look at him go down the straightaway, folks. Left and right. Holy smokes, he's driving a dirt car out here.
He is doing Lightning McQueen style, turn right to go left.
That he is.
Tell you what, there's a good thing that the closest one to him is Munson, because I would not want to be behind the 93 machine right now. That car is a liability.
Yeah, he is. He is a weapon out here to himself and the field. Yeah, I think when does he take his own life into consideration? As you look at him down the backstretch. Holy smokes, folks. I haven't seen a car this loose since, well, probably tomorrow night at the dirt track of Charlotte for the dirt big block or 358 modifieds.
It looks like we got Wilderson, unscheduled stop maybe, coming down pit road. Maybe knew he wasn't going to make it all the way. He's back down pit road right now pitting. So a little bit of a different strategy here out of that 6 car. I'll be curious to see if he going to come down and fill back up, or maybe he's got a problem or what. But that's if it's an unscheduled stop for the 6, that's too bad because he was really having a good run.
We've seen a lot of different strategies here tonight at Charleston, and it's great to see what's going to pay off here in the long run.
93 machine, dart without feathers. That guy sucks. Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
I don't know how he hasn't wrecked this car yet. This thing has been sideways for 15 laps. Oh, there he goes. He's in the wall hard. In the wall hard out of 4. I think it's finally just broke. Yeah, that one's done. Throw it in the compactor. Don't bring it back to the track, because next time that race car is being used, it's going to be a pop can. So
yeah, Brett,
so
no, I don't call that
sideways.
A cosmetic defect right there.
Exactly. Me and Jacob are in the inspectors. I'm still making a mess over here for myself, but Andrew Payne, we can stick a fork in it and call it done, because that thing seems to be broken beyond repair. As we'll jump out from the onboard before we ourselves get hurt as we look at our second place runner.
You see, there's
Nick Fleury.
There's braking in the race car, then there's braking in the race car. Would you agree? Would you agree, Tanner?
Yeah, I would say that he is. He's doing both. Probably more so the second one. And I don't even know what he's doing right now. Like, he's in the wall, so way down against the inside wall. No caution. There's a caution.
There it is. He got the caution flag that he wanted all along.
I wonder if he take tires on that stop? He had to have taken tires. Right?
He had to have taken tires on that stop, because if not, that would just be idiotic. That thing would have to be down to 0%. But Andrew Payne flipping back around on track, we just saw there at the end, brings out the yellow flag, pretty close to Jacob's number, with about 22 to go instead of 20. So Jacob, you're tonight's big winner on the money bets on when the yellow flag would come out. As now this race gets interesting. What do you think, Tanner?
I mean, Payne's about to wreck this thing under yellow. I don't know what is going on with that 93 car.
He thinks we're about a half mile. Yeah, he thinks we're about a half mile down the speedway at the dirt track of Charlotte, not the pavement track of Charlotte, because he is driving that thing all over the racetrack. As now with that spin, he's 2 laps down, so that will be a bummer. As we got to delete someone in YouTube chat lanes.
Yeah, it looks like I'm sure everybody that's left on the lead lap's probably going to come down and pit for 4 tires. Looks like that's going to be Furness, your leader, as well as Fleury, Jeff O'Quinn, and I believe the only other one would be Kyle Munson, but he is on pit road now. So as of right now, assuming nothing changes, looks like Alan Duranco and Nathan Henry are going to be 2 wave-around cars, which I believe would give the free pass to Brian Wilderson. We saw him on pit road there just shortly a couple laps ago. Thought he had an unscheduled stop, maybe not. Not sure what was going on there with that 951 car, but I believe he will be the lucky dog, the free pass here on this caution, if nothing else changes. So that will put 7 cars back on the lead lap.
So what do you think we try and dial up Andrew Payne and see what was going on with that car, with this driver? What do you guys say?
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what was going on.
All right, Andrew, this is Brett the Jet, Tanner Tallarico, and Jam the Man in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Oh, all right, Andrew. We were watching you about those last 15 laps because, man, you were hanging on to a wild stallion underneath your buttocks there. What was this car driving like? And I believe you brought out the yellow. What? this thing was ill handling, it seemed like, from mid-race. Can you elaborate a little bit for the viewers at home?
Yeah, well, first off, it started off with a mistake I made, speeding up pit road, put myself back. And then I was just overdriving, trying to catch up, trying to make up time, and, just got loose and stuff like that. And, burning off that right rear is definitely not something you want to do in these cars at all. And unfortunately, I did it. And then, I don't know if you guys saw, but I caught the wall pretty good out of 4 that one time, and it really upset the car, bent up the rear spoiler, and any sort of aero issue, it's not good for these cars at all. And unfortunately, just thought I would be able to handle and hang on to it, and unfortunately was not able to, which sucks. I really didn't want to be a caution, especially with how good we were running and getting down to the end of it. But it sucks that it happened, but I'm glad it didn't happen towards the end of the race with less than 10 to go, because I would have hated to bring out a caution at that point in time, and never want to be a cause of a caution. But better now than it being in the closing laps and stuff like that.
Andrew, just a real quick question for you. You got some right side damage on the side of your car. How did you get that?
I got loose through 3 and 4, tagged the wall. Really good. Kind of tank slapped it, caught it with the right rear, and it came around, got it with the right front, and it was killed. And I got a little bit actually earlier in the race, just kind of grazed the wall a little bit. But yeah, I got it really good, getting loose, having that right rear come apart, or not come apart, but get really hot, get loose, and yeah, tank slapped the wall pretty good.
Now, you say the term tank slap. Could you please expand on that for our viewers at home?
Yeah, basically got, right rear corner of the car kind of came out from under me, and it got the wall first, and it, with that, it kind of brought the right front of the car with it, and it slapped the wall as well. Kind of having it go back and forth was not good for it. Yeah, I never want to catch it with the right rear corner first, because most of the time that ends in disaster, as you guys saw that time.
All right, buddy. Well, it was good talking to you. We'll see if you can hold on to a top 10.
10-4, thank you guys.
All right, thank you, Andrew, and best of luck to you as we get ready to go green here.
Yep, thank you.
Now look at the field here. Tanner, this is where it gets crazy. And actually, with this cycle through, Nick Fleury is our race leader as the lights are extinguished on top of the iRacing pace car. Tim Rogers will make the hard left-hand turn down pit road, and we will get ready for green flag action. We'll have to double check on my end, but it looks like Nick Fleury did pit there, but to beat the 988 or the 28 of John Furness, did he only take 2 tires?
Well, we're going to find out pretty quick if he did, I can tell you that. We're going to know by the time we get off turn number 2. But pace car is going to be hitting pit road. Tim's going to yank that thing to the left. Wish he would have stayed out there with us, and we are off.
And we are green flag racing. Nick Fleury with an awesome restart. That moves John Furness to the inside of Jeff O'Quinn as they battle for P number 2 as they head down into turn number 1. And Nick Fleury on his own out in the front as we have 18 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Oh.
As Jeff O'Quinn in the outside wall down the backstretch.
I believe Fleury is on 2 tires. He got really, really free off of 2 there, and he's not able to really hold the bottom off of 4. So he's going to have to do some defensive driving. I know he's good at that. He likes to play those F1 games where you got to drive defensive a lot of the time, and see if he can put it to good use here.
Yeah, no, I've been behind him many of times with the inverts and the modifieds. I tell you what, I always regret racing this 25 car. He makes it so hard for me. As John DeMeester down the backstretch gets loose into the inside wall.
The blue deuce.
The blue deuce. Hard contact. He'll do it off the racing surface and probably won't bring out a yellow flag. But like I was saying about the 25 car, he is one of the toughest competitors to pass. I know I've been side by side him for probably hundreds of laps now. And he just gives you enough to get by and nothing more. And I tell you what, it is frustrating to battle with him, but he does it all cleanly and does it respectively. So I got to give him props because he is a heck of a wheelman. as he is leading this field with, well, coming to 15 to go.
I will say this, if Nick can if he can just maintain a steady pace and not make any mistakes, he can make it really tough on John behind him to, try to get around. If he can just, I won't say mirror drive, but almost be really strategic about how he places his car on corner entry and corner exit, he can make it really difficult for John to be able to reel him back in and get around him. And John leading all these laps in this race and being as dominant as he has, he's not just going to roll over and let this one go. So he's got about 5 car lengths or so over John. We'll see if he can reel him back in here before this thing's all over with.
Yeah, that is the case, as he's keeping about a half a second lead over John Furness. So Nick Fleury will have to keep this up as we get to the closing laps of the race. This would be a huge upset if Nick Fleury can get this win done here tonight for the ASRC Sportsman Series and steal one from John Furness with the dominating run that car has had here, especially in this mid-run of this race.
John's not going to let him take it easy, though. He's about 45 milliseconds behind. He is keeping the heat on. Furness is keeping the heat on.
That he is. Turn up the heat.
As me and Tanner have the same exact saying, I think it comes from the racing background. We have the same exact saying to say to Jacob as we say to Jam the Man, as John Furness about just under half a second behind Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury having to have to hit the corners of his lifetime to get, I believe, his first ASRC Sportsman win. He'll have to defend it for 12 laps here at Charlotte, North Carolina.
And here's one thing that we talked about real briefly earlier. Furness got into the wall a little bit, so he's got a little bit of right side damage. And these things on new tires, when you're really fully relying on the speed of these cars, that's going to hurt him a little bit. I think once the tires start to fall off, and there's some other variables tire-wise that, might go the other way in favor of John. It might help him, as I believe right there off of 4, he's going to close the lead down just a little bit. But, I would not be surprised if for the next 4 or 5 laps that damage on the side of that 28 car really hurts him. And he makes up a ton of time through the center of 1 and 2 right there on Fleury. He's going to be there. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to be able to complete the pass.
Yep, I said it before in this race, and it's a common saying among racers. It's one thing to catch a car. It's a whole another thing to pass them. And that's where I love racing to come into play. I love passing the cars. Tanner, that's why I love with your series, a shotgun rule to the winner. Really make them work for it, because, man, it's something special to time up the passes, get that all in the strategy. But John Furness is catching and closing the gap here very quickly as they are battling here behind them, way back on track.
He's hugging that outside wall.
I don't know if I should watch the leader, if I should watch a battle for third on back, because you got 4 cars right on top of each other, and then you got the leaders right on top of each other inside of 10 laps to go. Fleury's got to really make sure he shuts down the bottom line here. He's missed the bottom the last couple of laps. If he can get down to the bottom, really rip that paint, he misses it again right there. It's going to really allow Furness to get right to his bumper, maybe loosen him up a little bit.
Yeah, Nick Fleury's got to get down to the bottom, hit that grip strip, really roll that center of the corner. Because if he doesn't, that 28's going to be there to pounce on the opportunity. Tanner, maybe you watch the second half. We'll keep our eyes on this race lead as we get 8 laps to go.
Yeah, right now Kyle Munson working over the inside of Jeff O'Quinn. Just a lap ago, Jeff O'Quinn did get into the wall once again, but it didn't look like it hurt him all that much. Just a light scuff, and right now he's able to hold off Munson. Nathan Henry's fallen off this pack just a little bit. He's about 5 car lengths behind Billy Thomas, but right now Thomas, Munson, and O'Quinn all still right on top of each other.
As we got our first chat in the YouTube chat lands, we got old Roger Muth saying, didn't know John races here. Yeah, John Furness' first start, I believe, for sure in the ASRC Sportsman Series, and making an impact here as he's right on the bumper of our race leader of Nick Fleury as they have 7 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and that time Fleury missed the bottom on entry a little bit, but he was able to do kind of a late diamond on exit. But Furness was up against the outside wall. He's going to have a whole head of steam down the back straightaway, close that lead down to about a half a car length off the end of the backstretch. So looks like Furness is kind of trying to do the same thing that Fleury just did off of 2. He's going to have a big head of steam off the corner. It'll be interesting to see what lane Fleury gives him, if he gives him one at all. looks like Furnace is going to just elect to stay behind the 25 machine as we're working 5 laps to go here just for.
Also looking back a little bit further, Jeff O'Quinn is in third position, pretty dominantly with the blue division lead as John Furnace looking to the high side of Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury just giving him enough room, the typical 25 way. They'll be side by side as they cross the line with 5 laps to go.
You know, Furnace doesn't want to give this one up, man. He let all those laps early. He's going to be pushing hard. Fleury down to the bottom, misses it just a little bit. We'll see what kind of run he can get on exit. He's got to get right on his quarter panel here, try to side draft him. Not close enough.
As we get
Looks
a
like
lap
Furnace is
car
gonna clear
of
him.
John DeMeester down low. But yeah, we had to give the advantage to the 28, able to carry that momentum on the top side. We'll see if Nick Fleury can charge another attack here, but he'll have to do it on corner entry and wrap that middle perfectly if he wants a shot on the 28. As they go into turn number 1. 28 up top, 25 down low with 4 laps to go.
Fleury ain't giving up. I got to give it to him. He's got to get on his quarter panel right here, though, try to side draft him.
Yep,
Little
slow
bit
him
too
on
far
back
away.
down and bring him back to him as he just doesn't quite do that, but luckily the 28 or the 988 of John Furnace.
Fleury rolls the bottom.
He does, as he has given him the inside line. If I was a 988 or 28, I would be blocking him, not giving him the line, giving him the dirty air. So they have been racing very courteously to each other with 3 laps to go here at the start-finish line.
I don't know how the 25 car is driving it that deep into the corner and making it stick. He's going to pay for it on exit right here, and that one right there may have done it, but man, he was really pouring it in there deep. Here comes again, though.
As we have Roger Muth cheering on John Furnace. I think the rest of the booth cheering on Nick Fleury here, looking for his maiden win in the ASRC Sportsman Series. As we get popsicle sticks up at the line, 2 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 3 miles left in this race. As we have the 25 machine of Nick Fleury down low, the 28 or the 988 of John Furnace up top.
Yeah, I think that one right there may have done it. Fleury got right down on the bottom, and I think he may have hit the apron just a little bit and got himself tight. But he's driving it in, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, John Furnace able to carry that momentum, like you said, all night long, up on the top lane. White flag presented by Mike's Custom Garage and Speed Shop here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. John Furnace up top, Nick Fleury down low, trying to amount 1 more attack left. I don't think he'll have enough in this race here, as we got half a lap as they go to turn number 3 for the final time. John Furnace able to keep the gap on the 25 machine. And John Furnace, his maiden win here. First start, first win for the 28 Havoline machine. Bring it to him. He gets the job done here for 140 laps. Nick Fleury brings it home second. And Jeff O'Quinn wins the blue division and brings it home P number 3. So what a race, guys. What did you guys think about that?
That was electric racing. I was glued to my seat. My eyeballs glued to the screen. That was an intense heat. Those last few laps. Wow.
I'll tell you what, I love to see the 93 car spin out and crash, but not as much as that right there. That made the end of that race so good. That was an amazing finish to that race. Props off to Nick and John for racing each other clean and giving each other some room there late in the race, but that was a wild one. I think Nick needed just a little. He needed that race to be 2 laps shorter than it was, and I think he would have got him. But
that he did. He needed a few more laps left off of it. We'll see if the 28 does any burnouts for the fans at home. As Roger Moose says, he showed him everything he knows to bring home this win. So we got to give a credit to Roger Muth in the booth for bringing home and developing this driver to bring it home here tonight. As it looks like no burnouts for the 28th. So we'll go to iRacing commercial. We'll get set up with the broadcast, the interviews after the race, and we'll be right back here from Turn 3 Racing Network.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over 400 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alrighty, we are back here. We are looking at our Blue Division winner, Jeff O'Quinn, and our third place runner. We'll ask him a few questions. We'll see if Jeff has a copy. Jeff, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet, Tanner Tallarico, and Jam the Man in the booth.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Jeff, I got a question for you right here. How was the car driving tonight?
It was a smidge on the tight side. But other than that, it was fine. It was really fun.
Alrighty, we like to hear that, Jeff. Overall, it seemed like you had some pretty good speed in this 9/94 machine. A little different of a paint scheme. What made you go to the Bill Elliott Coors machine versus the Bill Elliott McDonald's machine here tonight?
I just wanted to change. Thought I'd throw it on back just a little bit further.
You know, they say the red paint does make it go faster. Can you attest to that statement?
100%.
Love to hear it.
Alrighty, Jeff. So, an awesome job winning the Blue Division tonight, as well as being on the podium. We saw a little bit of right side damage. Where'd you get that, and did that affect the car's handling as the closing laps ensued?
I got that on a restart. I just couldn't get going on a restart, and it snapped on me there, and I got into the wall a bit. Then got tight coming off of 4 once and got it there too. But the run wasn't long enough for it to really affect it.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like this 94 machine had the long run speed here tonight, and you definitely showed it with this top 3 finish. So, Jeff, before we let you go, I'm sure there's got to be a whole bunch of people you got to thank for this 94 machine, and of course winning the Blue Division race here tonight.
Yeah, just thank you guys for having me, and everything you guys do, putting on the league and broadcasting it. Everybody does a great job, and just glad to be a part of it.
Alrighty, Jeff. Well, I look forward to talking to you in the future. I would assume that this puts you to the Blue Division lead, so I assume some strong showings here for the future for this 94 machine as we continue this ASRC Sportsman Series here as we get past Charlotte.
I sure hope so. It's fun when you can run closer to the front. I wish I could have been closer to Nick and John and watched that battle for the lead. But congrats, John and Nick, on y'all's run. It was fun.
Yeah, John was on a whole different zip code here tonight, but an awesome job nonetheless from you, Jeff, to come home with a dominated Blue Division win, because you've been all in this red division, especially in qualifying and in the race. So, Jeff, nothing to take back from you, because you've been putting together a great season here, and looking forward to see what you got here whenever the postseason comes around here in quite a few weeks.
Thank you, guys. Look forward to it.
Alrighty, that was our second place finisher, Jeff O'Quinn. Now we'll talk to Nick McFlurry of our second place runner. We'll see if Nick got a copy. Nick, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet, Tanner Tallarico, and Jam the Man in the booth.
Oh, I'm here.
Alrighty, Nick. How was the car? What was it like out there? And man, what a race for that victory there in those closing laps.
Oh yeah, it was good fun. It's not my cup of tea, this kind of car. It's kind of all wobbly and just unstable in the rear end. But on new tires, I know what I'm doing. Once those tires start to wear, I am so out to lunch.
Nick, I gotta know, those last 4 laps of the race, where were you lifting on corner entry? Because it looked like you were driving that thing in way deep down into the corner and making it stick.
which is probably why I couldn't do it once my tires started to wear later. But entry into the turn 3, it was right at the end of the dash lines, and into turn 1, it's basically as soon as I cut and I'm on that little short straightaway and get just a little straight, and then I lift. I don't know how to describe it more than that.
It looked like you were driving that thing in 4 or 5 car lengths deeper than you had been all race those last handful of laps there battling with John. That was a hell of a race to watch, on the broadcast and live on the replay. So, great run for the old 25 machine. And, it was interesting to see. I thought for a second there that you took 2 tires on that last pit stop. I had to actually go back and watch it because I saw on the restart you got a little bit free and then you're kind of struggling to hit the bottom a couple laps. I thought you took 2, and then I went back and watched the replay. But you got the lead on pit road. Did you just have a solid stop, or did you do anything in the pits, fuel related, tire related, to try to get the lead?
No, I didn't do a single thing. I think John just had a bad stop. It's unfortunate for him, but it gave me a shot at it. And I do have to say, if that caution didn't come, I did not have second place. It was handed to me. Jeff had me all night long on those long runs once those tires got worn in.
Yeah, we were just talking to Jeff here a second ago, and definitely we're talking about his long run pace was phenomenal compared to the top 4 or 5 guys on track. He was up there, if not fastest, definitely second fastest, it seemed, after about 20 to 25 laps or so. So good run there from Jeff. But before we let you go, as always, let you kind of take the floor here. Thank any family, friends, sponsors, anything you might have on that good looking 25 machine, and floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. First off, my Lord and Savior, he's fantastic to me. My wife is so great to me as well. I've got to thank her. And then I need to thank my sponsors. I've got CPM Incorporated, Django Home Improvements, Mike's Garage, and I got to thank my teammates out here who I didn't have tonight, but other nights of the week we work really well together and we have a lot of fun. So Brett here and Dave Payton.
Awesome, buddy. Well, good looking race car. I'm gonna have to tell old daddy about the shout out there on the broadcast. He'll be fired up to hear that. But congrats on the second place run here, and I believe we will go ahead and grab our winner, John.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, that was our second place runner, Mick Fleury, out there in that 25 machine. Now we'll go down to Victory Lane and talk to John Furness. John, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet, Tanner Tallarico, and Jam the Man in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I gotcha.
Alrighty. Man, you put on a clinic tonight. I'm pretty sure this was your first start at ASRC, for sure, for the Sportsman Series. And what a way to do it, to come home with the race victory. How was this 988 or this 28 machine as they ran through this race here tonight?
Yeah, it was my first start. It was a ton of fun. I like this track. There's a couple different grooves you can use. Car was super tight, but we managed. It was still a ton of fun. But yeah, all in all, a good night.
Yeah, it seems like Roger Muth out here in the YouTube chat land saying that he showed you everything he knows and you are the man. So it's Roger kind of taught you how to drive these cars and teach you how the winning ways here on iRacing. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, so I came to iRacing, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago, right when it was first came out, and I was just lost. I was lost without Roger. And then, you meet a lot of good people on here. Roger just happened to be one of them, and he showed me the light, for sure. I got to thank Roger. Couldn't be here without him. And it's I'm so excited that he got a chance to see his protege on YouTube tonight.
Yeah, John. Hopefully we see you here in the future, because I tell you what, you got some incredible speed here. You could challenge the likes of who he had in the booth, Tanner Tallarico, Andrew Payne, if he didn't get as crazy as he did with those tire strategy and burning off those tires. Because I tell you what, John, you had some awesome speed here tonight, and you are no slouch out here on the racetrack, especially in these Xfinity cars. Could you tell us a little bit how you manage these tires and how you managed to get such a huge lead over the stellar field of this Sportsman Series?
Yeah, Well, first, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doing more racing with the guys here. Um, I've been part of this for a while, but I never did any official races because I just actually downloaded TeamSpeak tonight. So this is my first time with TeamSpeak here. But yeah. So saving tires, you just got to be easy with the throttle, easy with the inputs, steering, brake, throttle, but mostly the throttle. These cars will burn the rear tires off pretty quick and burn the right front. So basically, just got to be smooth. Again, all credit goes to Roger for teaching me the tricks of the trade.
Alrighty, so I expect Roger Muth out here next week to put on a clinic here. So, Roger, I know you're watching out there in the YouTube chat land, so I expect to see the 39 machine out here to race. Well, Tanner or Jacob, Jam the Man, you got any questions for our race winner down here in Victory Lane?
I don't think I have any questions right now.
Maybe later, though, right?
Exactly. Well, John, an awesome win here tonight. What was kind of your thoughts here tonight? Were you kind of saving tires? It seemed like you did a great job at keeping the long run pace, so I assume you had to have a little bit of tire saving. And then what was your thoughts kind of going through that yellow with 20 laps to go and starting P number 5 and having to go through that field like you did?
I was looking forward to it, honestly. Yeah, you always got to save tires in these cars. That's why I like league racing, because it's not the crazy stuff in the official lobby. But you get a good group of guys in here, and you can make some long runs and be easy with the car and hold a good pace throughout a run. But yeah, when that caution came out, I was pumped up, man. I was out there by myself for a while, just trying to stay awake. It's getting close to my bedtime here, and it's Monday, so Sunday was a late one. But yeah, it was fun. I just had to let the laps click off there. Nick was setting a really good pace to begin with, and just had to wait for him to use up those tires because on the same set a couple of us can click off some pretty good laps, pretty similar laps. So wait for the right move or a right opportunity and capitalize on it, and got us in victory lane. Ton of fun.
Yep, as you were able to complete that pass with about 3 laps to go over the 25 machine, so awesome job. Well, we won't keep you too long, John, as it is your bedtime. I assume us in the booth will be celebrating a little bit later than you even down in Victory Lane. So we'll let you go. We'll let you go celebrate, but first we got to say, I'm sure there's got to be a lot of people you got to thank for this 988 or this 28 machine here tonight.
Yeah, family, friends, Roger Muth, for sure. But no, thank you guys in the broadcast for putting on the show that you do, and the league admins for putting this all together. I really think that league racing is the best type of racing on the service. So really appreciative of all those who do their part to make it good for everyone.
Well, we thank you so much for keeping the heat in the furnace.
Yep, that is true.
Yes, indeed.
That was Jam the Man saying here tonight, you kept the heat on the field from you, Mr. Furnace. But Roger Moose says in the YouTube chat land, you got to bring Kemp to race as well. So it sounds like you got a little bit of recruitment to do. But drinks on up to you, John Furnace, for getting this race victory, especially in your first one out here. So congratulations to this 28 or 988 machine here tonight.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Alrighty, that was our race winner down there. John Furnace gets it done here at ASRC. We'll let him go and celebrate down in Victory Lane, as well as get to his bedtime as we approach 11 p.m. here tonight. So, Tanner, what'd you think? An awesome race overall here tonight. Some great racing, and of course, a great battle for the race lead there with under 5 laps to go with that yellow flag. Some great stuff once again from the ASRC Sportsman Series. Jacob and Tanner, what did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, the race started off pretty good, and we had that, first little stint there to the stage, and then kind of the same thing last week at Rockingham. It was really competitive up until the first stage, and then it seems like everybody kind of tapers off and starts running their own pace, and things kind of, calm down and, spread out a little bit. But then something happens at the ends of these races and bunches everybody back up, and we get some pretty good finishes. You know, we had a good one last week, another good one this week. Hopefully we keep that trend going, because, you know, a good finish is always good for the overall, you know, outlook on the race. So that's good. Congrats to John again, and Nick, Jeff, all those top three. Awesome finish to the race, and hopefully we can do it again next week. I think we go to Michigan, so.
Yeah, it was a really great race, seeing these drivers manage their resources, their tire, their fuel, their willpower to finish off strong. We saw John keeping the pilot light on the furnace there, and just really finishing off strong. Just a real testament to the sportsmanship, you know, keeping a nice clean race, going straight down the center of these cars. They were a bit tight, bit loose, but each driver managed their own. It was great to see. It was a great, clean race.
Yep, as we heard from the top three, saying all their cars were tight here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But we saw the likes of Andrew Payne when we rode on with him, how loose those race cars were. So it was all about how you drove the race cars, how you broke in these tires to develop how you felt here overall in the race. And got to give a big shout out to all the competitors here tonight. They put on an awesome race overall with only one yellow flag that wasn't a competition caution. Of course, John Furness coming out here in his debut, coming home in victory lane. Can't get much better than that. He is 1 for 1 here. Hopefully we'll see him here in the future, because he's got to defend that percentage there, 100% here at ASRC. So we will run down tonight's finishing order here in the race. We got John Furness in the 988 or the 28, as you see on the right side of your screen, finishing in P number 1. Nick Fleury from RH2 Racing finishing in P2. And rounding out our podium, we got Jeff O'Quinn in the 94 or the 9 that we saw on his car. Kyle Munson brings it home in P number 4 in the 28. And rounding out our top 5, Alan Duranco up 7 positions in the 109.
Coming in at number 6, we got Brian Wildenson in the 951 car. Number 7, P7, we got Billy Thomas in the number 9, Blue 9. Number 8, P8, we got Nathan Henry, the 59. And then John DeMeester in the Blue Deuce, coming in number 9. And position 10, we got Andrew Payne, bringing the pain in the old 93 car. Sad to see how that went down, but hey, he pulled it out of there just a little bit.
Yep, he is one of the drivers. 2 laps down, and do we got Tanner? Is Tanner still around here?
Yep. Sorry, boys. The old headset died. Had to plug it in, but we had Noah Boucher coming home 11th, John Cenu 12th, Austin Nielsen 13th, and then yours truly couldn't get the car cranked, so we finished 140 laps down. We finished 14th, the old numero de uno. So.
Yeah, Tanner had to run up to the booth to the top of the grandstands there, as you see on the top of your screen, to join us in the booth. Glad to have you, Tanner. It's been a great time. Same with Jam, the man, Jacob, out here. It's been a pleasure having you both out here for the 140 laps here at Charlotte from the ASRC Sportsman Series.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
As we will wrap it up here, we got to thank, of course, all the live viewers here that viewed this race live. Got to thank each and every single one of you, all the replay viewers here to get the racing action. Be sure to tune in, hopefully next week, to get the same racing action from Michigan International Speedway. Of course, got to give a big thanks to the YouTube chat lands, the likes of Roger Muth cheering on our winner tonight, John Furness, giving everything that he knows. So, Roger, maybe we'll see you out here for some pavement racing. But this has been Brett the Jet in the booth from the Turn 3 Racing Network. And everyone, have yourself a good rest of your night. You guys got anything else to say before we wrap this on up?
Stay safe, everybody.
I'm ready for bed.
As we see it here from my co-commentators here tonight, we got to keep it safe and ready for bed. So we will wrap it up here, end this night on a high note. And this has been Brett the Jet here. Everyone, just remember, just flew by you. Have a good night, and see you all next week. See you guys later.